In the last episode, we delved into the transformative journey of the Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, through the innovative MoNIS project, launched to modernize and enhance the agency's operational dynamics. We highlighted the establishment of a career progression and training policy framework, the expansion of training access via e-learning, and the integration of gender mainstreaming to create a more efficient and inclusive service. Join us on this episode as we continue to explore the collaborative efforts among various agencies and the commitment to reshaping the NIS to better meet the needs of Nigeria's diverse immigration landscape.
The implementation phase of MoNIS was a meticulously coordinated effort involving various experts, the Technical Working Committee, TWC, and members from all NIS directorates. This ambitious project aimed at improving the HR and training systems of the Nigeria Immigration Service was launched by the Honorable Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, on December 14, 2021.
The project came in at the best of times because it is true the NIS was trying to innovate and advance its activities with technology, but there was a need for a standard policy-driven procedure in such a way and manner that at any point in time the service can stand on its own as an institution, not given to weather situation or climate conditions. So the MoNIS project has now been able to bring into focus the need for a need-assessed recruitment and purpose-driven training going towards career progression in such a way and manner that personnel will be well trained and well motivated to give their best.
What we tried to do with this project was to generate any solutions we are going to generate from the immigration service itself. And it's the immigration service that drove the processes. And that's why at various points there was engagement with personnel of the immigration service through different fora. There was a technical working group that was set up. We worked for the past 2 years all with the immigration service. So most of the solutions that we have arrived at, or most of the things or the product we arrived at today was driven by the immigration service itself. So what we just try to do is to see how it aligns with global best practices. But the solution is homegrown for the fact that it was driven by the immigration service itself.
The TWC was inaugurated with representatives from all NIS directorates, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Federal Ministries of Women Affairs, Finance, Budget, and National Planning, as well as representatives from the 4 NIS training schools. This committee was charged with the responsibility of developing the Career Progression and Training Policy Framework, CPTF, the Gender Policy Document, and the training modules content for both e-learning and face-to-face training.
The system like supposed to make it easy. When you like select an example, numerical states. So it's supposed to bring you up the drop down. It's supposed to bring you up the only local government example, not to all serviceable local government. Yeah. You get it? Click on the states. The states. Just restrict to the local government. That's the
What really stood out for me in this having attended a lot of workshops, a lot of trainings, both home and abroad, this is the most interactive session I've ever attended in a workshop. Sincerely. There is a difference between teaching, lecturing, and facilitating. And for facilitating is the interaction back and forth leading us to where we are going. The live demonstration of the PMS live demonstration of the portals. Everything went superb, and I believe our contribution is going to be taken care of, and we will still come back with more questions. And that is what really stood out for me in the whole of this session.
Yes, the large chunk of the TWC members were made up of NIS officers, but membership was also drawn from other MDS, ministries, departments, and agencies within the federal system, where we have a representative from the Ministry of Interior, representative from the CDC FIB, that's Civil Defense, Correctional, Fire and Immigration Service Board, representatives from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Women Affairs, to capture the gender perspective to the component of the project, as well as Ministry of Budget and National Planning. It was quite robust in that sense, and the activities leading to the documents we have now was quite robust and comprehensive, in the sense that there were several meetings that were set up to ensure that there is an amenable atmosphere for these members to ventilate their ideas, their experiences on how to go about developing the career progression and policy framework, so that it will not just be that, ICMPD as an international partner just came up with something and dumped to the NIS. It took into account the fact that officers who are from different MTS have, acquired experience, knowledge, and they can share best practices on how to come up with this document.
Our process starts with consultations. Once we have those consultations and we are able to say, this is the need of this agency, then we begin to discuss on how to go about helping with those needs. And in this case, we went on to design a project with the NIS fully involved. The development of a project starts with expression of need. From the expression of need, we talk about consultations on what types of activities can be designed to meet those needs.
So many capacity building have been carried out. I partook in one of them, and we noticed our gaps. The gaps noticed, we are trying to tie up those ends. The ICMPD and the project, they have done well. Even now, many capacity building exercises are going on about the training schools, for the deployment of this.
At the beginning of the project, a team of ICMPD Border Management and Security BMS experts, along with NIS officials, conducted a comprehensive assessment of the service's HR management, recruitment and promotion practices, available training programs, and criteria for the selection of staff for training. This included tours of key locations such as the Abuja International Airport and the Ilela Land Border Crossing Point in Sokoto to identify operational gaps and needs. In developing the CPTF and the gender policy documents, a mix of methods were utilized to gather useful and verifiable information. This included competency mapping, skills audits, and gap analysis through questionnaires distributed across a broad range of NIS personnel, personal and phone interviews, and focused group discussions.
Gender before in the service was overwhelmed by the other aspect of this place, which is what we know about gender and welfare, was more on the welfare. So the e-learning will bring home what this gender is all about. When we throw up the question, you see pictures asking us, what is this showing you on equality and then equity? You see some saying it's equality. No, it's equity we are talking of, inclusivity when it comes to gender. So the e-learning platform will bring it home to us.
We needed to also mainstream gender, since even in terms of operations, we still have vulnerable people who cross the frontiers, and NIS, of course, should have experience in recognizing human rights related issues. So we didn't leave that out. But I think what is important is that in terms of all NIS operations, there are standard operating procedures that have been developed, to really cater for the different operations, whether you are operating at the land border or the air border or blue border. So we have resources to train, and these are tailor-made manuals for them.
Postal code, zip code. What do you understand by a zip code? I believe in Nigeria, let me use zip code. So they say the zip code now. What the person would do? Okay, what of problems? Who do postal code now? Persons in the villages that want to apply, which code will they do? In the village? Yes.
The information collected was analyzed and used to develop the draft CPTF. The policy documents went through a series of review processes, culminating in a technical validation workshop organized by the TWC in August 2023 in Port Harcourt. One of the major highlights of the implementation phase was the joint NIS CDCFIB management meeting held on October 17th to 18th, 2023. This two-day meeting provided a platform for the management of both the NIS and the CDCFIB to have a shared vision of the proposed reforms. The objectives were to formally present the draft CPTF and gender mainstreaming policy, develop an implementation plan with specific timelines, and raise awareness on the need for gender inclusiveness in all NIS operations.
And we really need to go through them because we are making addition. We have human resource management, we have finance and accounts, 3 passport and other travel documents, planning, research and statistics, investigation and compliance.
The policies are tailored towards our needs, so there is no way the NIS will not be involved. At every point in time, we're always dialoguing, discussing, because it's like shaving somebody's hair in his absence. You can't make policies that are not applicable to us. So we had inputs at any given point in time. We have a board that handles issues of recruitment, and I'm aware that there's an app that's trying to put finishing touches to, to take care of that during the recruitment process, because there was even a demonstration of it at one of the retreats we had at Soviet at some time. And with that, I think it's going to make the whole process a lot easier, factoring in this gender mainstreaming as well, because the parameters will be inbuilt, I think, ab initio. So as people apply, they know, certain considerations, are taken into effect. So it's going to improve things a whole lot. And when you have your principal as driving in the driver's seat and moving with speed, you don't have any reason, you don't have any excuse than to fall in line, because you have a support base. So honestly, I see it working, and until we get it, and this is even for the entirety of the civil service. If immigration starts now, it's going to catch on with the larger train, with the longer train at the end of the day. So there's no saying that this, that. It's already started with some of the things they're already doing, like passport, like I've told you, passport issuance, passport administration is going to be full automation. I renewed my passport last year, and I did it from my bedroom on a public holiday on my phone. You pick venue, you pick dates, you pick everything on your own. And Honorable Minister is going to even doing uploading on your own. And the only thing is you just get the physical booklets. It will be delivered to your home. He's working on that. He's pushing on that. So I don't see why automation of all of the career
progression matters, even like you said, appointments, promotion, everything will be automated. It's doable.
The meeting included strategic discussions on the processes required for final approvals by the Honorable Minister of Interior and the Head of Service. Participants included the top management team of the NIS and the CDCFIB, comprising the CGI, the Secretary of the Board, heads of directorates, and thematic experts. Throughout the implementation phase, the MoNIS project focused on integrating training applications and automating the recruitment and promotion processes. This included efforts to procure and identify the most suitable service providers for deploying these solutions. A key component was the integration of the National Identity Number API, which facilitates seamless verification of individuals' identities, ensuring the security and accuracy of the data handled by the NIS.
You can already feel the winds of reform within the NIS, particularly given the current administration. You can already see reforms in the area of, for instance, of operations of the NIS. The Nigerian government itself is now investing much in the Nigerian Immigration Service, like at the international airports. There are now e-gates that have been installed. The turnaround time for Nigerian Immigration Service, for instance, to produce passports for Nigerian citizens has been really very efficient since the coming of this new administration, because we realize that all the backlog has been cleared. But for the MoNIS project, beyond operations, of course, we need to provide incentive for the personnel, for the officers and men of the Nigerian Immigration Service to be able to sustain and carry out this job. Because training is linked to promotion, of course, training by itself is an incentive, but then what sort of training are we talking about now? Even the MoNIS project has gone further to develop about 55 operational manuals for the Nigerian Immigration Service, covering all aspects of its operations, from border control to surveillance to installation protection to armory management. We have manuals on gender-based violence, because we needed to also mainstream gender. Even in terms of operations, you still have the vulnerable people who cross the frontiers, and NIS, of course, should have experience in recognizing human rights related issues.
With the level of excitement and enthusiasm this reform or policy documents have brought, if what the feedback we're getting is anything to go by, I am optimistic that it will not go the way of other policies that have been developed in the past. I recall during the validation process last year, where the top management of the Nigerian Immigration Service and the Civil Defense, Correctional, Fire and Immigration Board were converged at one of the hotels in town to look at the documents. They x-rayed it, scrutinized it, and validated it. And everybody was like, wow, we are ready to run with this. This is good for the service. And there was that commitment, that level of commitment and determination to make sure that it is brought to fruition. So with that in mind, with the caliber of officers, the Controller General was there, the Secretary of the Board was equally there. And these are people whose responsibility is to chart a clear course for the career progression of the NIS. Not only the NIS, there are a number of other services, correctional services there, the Civil Defense Corps, as well as the Fire Service. So if the Secretary to the Board was there, as well as the Controller General, who else can drive it better other than them? And with the Minister, who is always, forward-thinking, who is always innovative, you can tell that indeed it's going to be a success story at the end of the day.
In a bid to enhance the knowledge of its workforce, in line with the latest developments in information and communication technology, ICT, the MoNIS project conducted a training workshop for select staff and stakeholders of the Nigeria Immigration Service. This workshop provided participants with hands-on experience in modern communication and interconnectivity infrastructure in preparation for the launch of the ICT Communication and Service Center, which is being established and equipped by the ICMPD as part of the broader Immigration Modernization Initiative. The implementation of the CPTF and the gender policy, supported by the robust framework established through MoNIS, has positioned the NIS to better manage its human resources.
MoNIS, in the course of this work, I got to know that is gender imbalance in immigration service. And it's not because of fault of anybody. 2 reasons were adduced at the committee. The first one is religion. Second, culture. From some areas in this nation called Nigeria. So these were some of the challenges we heard about during the course of our work as the committee. There are some deployments they don't enjoy, they don't take them to. They'll say, you're a woman, you have a baby, you can't go to border. You're a woman, you have a baby, you cannot go to airports. And the same for training courses. I got to that realization too, that even for some training courses, they don't have opportunity to go for those courses. So these are some of the challenges that the mainstreaming framework tried to address. Even some of the challenges that affect the men, we were able to address some of them. Recruitment, entry, deployment. Women can be deployed when they have stopped having their babies.
The expected outcomes of the project include a validated CPTF gender mainstreaming policy and recommended courses, along with a harmonized roadmap for implementing these policies with the ICT automation solution.
In the process of this project, there was a lot of demonstration by the IT that it is possible. Even they have the capacity, even within the immigration service itself. And what the ICAPD has done is to get experts in those fields to bring in that automation. So what you are going to look at right from recruitment all through your service here, and when you retire, everything will be automated. And that's why they are developing a software program that's human resource information system that will be linked to even the LMS, that once you go for any course, it goes into the system automatically. Every information about you goes into that system. So I think that's what the automation is all about. It's like a cradle to death concept, where you see you come into the system and how you go out of the system, all your records will be there. And it helps for better human resource management, performance management, and a whole lot of that.
With these foundations in place, the NIS is now better equipped to meet the challenges of the future, ensuring that its personnel are well trained, its operations are efficient, and its services are inclusive.
The board has been part and parcel of the MoNIS project, and the board members have been participating in various seminars and retreats, and they were part of the communique drawn to actualize the project. So the ICMPD made the board to buy into the project, the minister bought into the project, and as at now, we can say everybody is on board. We want now to go to the last stage of putting the trainers together so that everybody will know what the project is all about and be able to implement.
The primary stakeholder, of course, are the employees themselves of NIS, the officers. But I think the public also, to some extent, should be informed in terms of the efforts that NIS is deploying to improve itself so that they can appreciate it. I do see from time to time people praising NIS, having gone through the airport, see some of the professionalism that is being displayed now by some officers. NIS is not where it ought to be yet. A lot of progress has been made, and we need to appreciate that. Other stakeholders, of course, are border agencies like the police, the customs, and other law enforcement agencies that are also stakeholders. They all need to be aware of these changes that are ongoing and how they can be part of it, how they can contribute to it, and how they can demonstrate the effects of the positive training that they've been receiving.
Modernizing Nigeria Immigration Service, MoNIS, is implemented by ICMPD with funded from the Danish government.